Welcome to What is Truth podcast, exploring truth with T. Hakanson, where we challenge propaganda and seek clarity in the current times. Let's dive in.
I'm Terry Hakanson, and I wrote the book, What is Truth? And the title of the book comes from John chapter 18, verse 38, where on the day of the crucifixion, Pontius Pilate asked Jesus, what is truth? And there was never an answer given, so it was basically a rhetorical statement, what is truth? But that's what this book is about. And in the book, there's 12 chapters, and they talk about different things. The first chapter talks about truth, and then the second chapter tells about hell, and then there's the cause of all things and natural laws and Christianity and blood and the scarlet thread and the three heavens and spirit and all kinds of stuff. It's a good resource book that shines on the light of truth of the Bible. The Bible is truth, and this book, What is Truth, is kind of a guide going along with the Bible. One of the chapters is hell. And one thing that is not truth is the doctrine of hell being eternal torture and putting the devil in charge. The doctrine of eternal life in hell was begun in the Dark Ages by the Catholic Church. And what they wanted to do was basically scare the hell out of people and say, well, you just do what we say and you'll go to heaven. You won't have to burn forever and ever in hell. So give your tithes and stuff to the Catholic Church. You know, you don't even need a Bible. We'll tell you what to believe. And they've told people things to believe, such as there's a hell, and if you don't do what we say, you're going to burn there forever and ever and ever. And not only that, we're going to put the devil in charge of it. This is all propaganda, people. These are false doctrines. I call them doctrines of demons. And so the second chapter of hell is something that a lot of people are interested in. But the whole book talks about the truth of the existence of God. And Jesus said in John 14:6, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me. And so, I'm going to talk about the truth of God again. And over various podcasts, I've mentioned a lot of these things before, and I'm going to mention them again because things of truth are important to hear more than once. Just like if somebody had, a hit song, and it's been the hit song for 6 weeks, but somebody says, oh, I've already heard that song, I don't need to hear it again. Well, what do you mean? That's what a great song is about. We want to hear it again and again and over and over. And that's the same thing with these precepts of truth that I'm talking about. They're just like a hit song. They're important truths that people need to hear over and over. And some people might listen to one podcast and not hear and not listen to another one. And how are they going to get these nuggets of truth? So I'm going to reiterate really the main precept of this book is there is a God. And that's the truth. And how can I say that? Well, we have people who believe in God and people who don't believe in God. The scientists of today are trying to say that the earth and the universe actually began 13.77 billion years ago. We'll say 13.8 billion years ago. That an event happened at that time where an infinite point of density of energy exploded and became the Big Bang. And it's kind of interesting that they would put a date on it, because by doing that, they're not saying that they're pantheists, which is belief that the universe is God and all things are God and this is God and I'm God and you're God and we're all God and everything is God and it's always been in existence and is ever expanding. They're not saying that, because scientists are saying 13.8 billion years ago, everything began with the Big Bang. And I'm here to say that I don't believe that's necessarily true, because we can say, all right, what was it that exploded 13.8 billion years ago? They say there was this infinitely dense point of energy called the singularity. And one of them actually said, I think it's hilarious that a person would say this, about the size of a pinhead. Oh my word. How can you have size in the midst of a void? It's neither large or small. It's the only thing there is. But the question is, where did it come from? Where did this singularity, we'll call it, this infinitely dense point of energy, where did it come from? And so some people would say that things just appeared out of nothingness. Oh, it just appeared out of nothingness. Other people would say an almighty being created it. So we have people who have faith and say God created all things. And then we have people who have blind faith and say everything just started out of nothingness. Now, how can that be? In physics, there's the first law of thermodynamics, which basically says that energy and matter are constant in a closed and isolated system. There's never a gain of energy or a loss of energy in a closed system. And so my point is that the universe was a closed system of nothingness. So where did this infinite point of dense energy come from? It had to come from somewhere, because physics basically says that things just don't appear out of nothingness. It's against the law of physics. And so my point is that there's really 3 points. Either everything appeared out of nothingness or God created it. And then academics will say, well, science just hasn't found the answer for that yet. Why don't you give us a few more 100 years and we'll come up with another theory? We can take an example of a safe that symbolizes a system of a closed system of isolation and nothingness. In that safe, if a young couple bought that safe at their 20, when they're 20 years old and they got married, and they locked up the safe, it's got a dial, it's got digital, and it's got a key, and they lock it up, and 50 years later they open it up and they never put anything in it. What's going to be in that safe? There's going to be nothing in there. That closed system of nothingness was locked, and there will always be nothing in it. That's what our universe was. It was a void, closed system of nothingness. If there's something in it, something from the outside put something into that void and created everything. If we found a silver dollar in the safe, some people could say, well, with infinite time and space, that just appeared in there. That's refuting the law of physics, saying that something can appear out of nothingness. Impossible. If the couple opens up the safe and there's a silver dollar in there, one of them's not going to say, oh boy, that just appeared out of nothingness. They're going to say, oh, you put that in there sometime, didn't you? Well, yeah, I did. 20 years ago, I put that silver dollar in there. Because to have something in that empty safe, something from outside the safe had to open it up and put it in there. And if the person put a single silver dollar in there, when they open it 50 years later, would there be 2 silver dollars in there? Did the 1 silver dollar increase its energy and matter to become 2 silver dollars? Maybe the 2 silver dollars procreated themselves to become 3 silver dollars. This is all contrary to not just science, but common sense. We know if there's something in that safe, something from outside that safe, unlocked it and put it in there. And if nothing was ever put in there, you can open the safe 50 years later or 1,000 years later, there's still nothing in there. And that's what our universe was. The other thing that science is trying to say is that not only is there something in that closed system of nothing, like a silver dollar, but they're saying that that silver dollar began as ore, and then it got smelted down into a chunk of silver and became orderly into this coin. We know that's not true. The second law of thermodynamics says that things don't become more orderly with time. Things become less orderly with time. Things fall apart. You know, if you gave this 1,000,000 years, this thing would probably disintegrate into, just atoms and stuff because things disintegrate with time. Things don't become orderly. So if there's a silver dollar in that closed system of nothing, and it's got a picture of Elizabeth II, and it's got the maple leaf because this is a Canadian silver dollar, 0.9999 purity, we can say, no, with infinite time, it didn't get all these pictures on here and these grooves on the side and this beautiful, beautiful sheen to it and sparkle. Somebody took that ore, got the silver out of it, made molds, poured it into the mold, and made this safe. It had intelligent design. And so, that brings up the question of our universe. Our universe, first of all, had something from outside of it. I call it the universe, but it's really a void because it's nothing. Something came from outside and put things into it and said, be. And God created everything. We know that the universe has order, just like the silver dollar has writings on it and pictures on it and a maple leaf on it and these cool grooves on the side. If you want to file your fingernail a little bit, you can actually do it. And we know that if a person was walking in the desert, let's say, and found a pocket watch, they're going to say, wow, with infinite time and space, all the sand in the desert became an orderly pocket watch. In other words, contrary to the second law of thermodynamics, where things are falling apart, they're saying, oh no, the sand became this intricate pocket watch because with infinite time and space, all these things, these dials on here, these numbers, the hands, the cover, the glass cover, it all just happened by chance. Talk about faith. People who believe that things appear out of nothingness also. We know that this pocket watch had intelligent design. It had a watchmaker who designed it and ordered the different gears to be made for it and put them all in the right places and put the cover on it and put the numbers on it. And they made this wonderful working pocket watch, and it had design by the master watchmaker who designed it. And that's what we can say about our own universe, is that not only did everything come from nothing because God created it, but it became more orderly. It has design. We live in a universe that has, you can look at pictures from I can't remember the name of it, but like the satellite after the Hubble satellite. It's got these beautiful pictures of these galaxies. And the universe has order. Our galaxy has a solar system, which is our solar system. It has an Earth that has the water cycle that provides water for life on the planet. It has air and atmosphere so living things can grow and breathe and live. And all this is order and design. Just like the watchmaker designed the watch, the master universe maker, God, created everything and created it with order. God created things not as a seed that become, bananas and oranges and nuts and mammals and monkeys and amphibians and fish and birds. He planned everything, just like every gear in this watch is planned with a purpose. He planned everything. And the earth has design, and it came from something which is God. And this is I really want people to know, Jesus said, I am the way and the truth and the life. If people know the truth, that there is a God, and this Bible tells about it from front to back, there is a God. Things didn't appear out of nothingness. Things don't become more orderly because science says things become less orderly, but God created things with design, just like the design of a watch, just like the design of an intricate silver piece. There's intelligence. And I guess my my big beef that I really want to get out, if you want to call it a beef, is that our universities and colleges and schools are teaching the Big Bang and evolution as though they're science. And I say, what takes more faith to think that everything began from nothing 13.8 billion years ago? Because they don't have any answer besides God, how the infinite point of nothingness came into existence. It came from somewhere. It didn't just appear like a safe, like a coin in a safe. It just didn't appear out of nothingness. Something of great omnipotence created it, and that is God. And I believe that colleges and universities and school need to teach creationism, and they need to teach intelligent design, because they make far more sense than things appearing out of nothingness and becoming more orderly with time. This is what I want people to know, the truth. And once a person knows the truth, that doesn't say, oh boy, I'm a Christian now, I'm going to have eternal life. Because even the demons in hell know the truth that God exists and they shudder. Are they saved because they know that truth? No. But once a person knows the truth, then they got a roadmap for the way to eternal life. And so this is a message I'm going to say in many different ways over different podcasts, because I want people to understand it takes more faith to believe that everything appeared out of nothing, like the Big Bang presupposes, than it takes faith to know that an almighty, omnipotent being created it and said, be. And it talks about it in this Bible. But the rebellious to the Bible, they don't want to hear people saying, oh, this is right or this is wrong. They don't want to hear other people's morals and values taught to them, because they're rebels. They don't believe in God. They don't believe in morals and values that the Bible teaches. And they're rebellious. They're the lost. So the truth is, there is a God. And once you know the truth, you can find the way to eternal life, and it's through Yeshua, or Jesus Christ. I say Yeshua a lot because, somehow the name was translated over the, centuries here. And I believe that when the disciples sat around the campfire at night, they said, hey, Yeshua. They didn't say, hey, Jesus Christ. Nobody'd say, who's Jesus Christ? Never heard of that one before. So you can call the Son of God Jesus Christ, or the Messiah, or the Son of God, or Yeshua. But Jesus Christ is God. He's the part of God that came to earth and revealed his truths to us. And so in today's world, a lot of these legacy media groups such as CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, New York Times, LA Times, Washington Post, Minneapolis Star Tribune, all these are sources that have only been telling part of the truth. Just like the universities, they're just telling part of the truth. They're saying, well, everything began at this time, but I don't even know if that's part of the truth. It's just their theory. But people are noticing nowadays, because these big media colossals things are firing entire staffs. They're letting go of Joyless Reed, one of the biggest racists I've ever seen in my life. Everything's race for her. These people are not getting views from people because people are saying, you know what, this isn't really the truth. This is just part of the story. And so I'm trying to tell the rest of the story. I'm trying to say that there's truth, there's a God, there is a way to eternal life so people don't have to fear death anymore. There is truth in that hell is not eternal life of torture. That's a false doctrine. And what I want people to know, there's a God and you can have eternal life through Jesus Christ. And that's my message for today. And I want to just say to everybody, may God bless and keep you. And thank you for this time.